Hi everyone, it's Justine and today I'm showing you a die cutting technique and you can make 2 cards by using 1 die cut here in this tutorial. To get started, I am going to be blending my background. So I took a piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. This is 110 pound 110 pound Nina Solar White cardstock, and I am going to do a variety of colors and just blend them in. Now I'm going to speed you up since this tutorial is not so much on blending, but just my tricks for blending are simply do not put as little pressure as possible on your blending tool and start off of the paper and work your way in. That's about the only advice I can give for blending tools, and that works for me generally every time. So I've used wilted violet as well as candied apple and picked raspberry, so I'm trying to incorporate some of the newer colors from Tim Holtz as well. And I'm going in with peacock feathers right now. But I realized I had to clean my mat first because it was picking up the other colors and turning an awful color. So I had to just clean off my mat, dry it, and then continue going in. And that's really important, especially when you're mixing colors and maybe they're going to turn brown if you mix them together. So that's really important to do, is just clean off your mat each time and dry it. Next, I'm going in with mustard seed to give it just that deep, intense yellow and to really brighten up the card. And then lastly, I'm going in with carved pumpkin. I used to always use spiced marmalade, but I'm really liking this carved pumpkin and the brightness and vibrancy that it has. So I really like how everything blended together. And now I'm going to take this die from Simon Says Stamp. It's an amazing die, and this technique can be used with any die that cuts an outline of anything. So you just need a die, whether it be a heart or anything that cuts an outline. Now I'm going to send this through my cutting machine, once using this background that I just blended and once using a white piece of cardstock. I did realize after cutting this the first time that I do need a shim, so I do need a little bit of extra to make it cut through, especially in the middle of that there, which isn't a big deal. That happens a lot of the times with the thinlit dies. Now, once again, just once with the blended cardstock and once with white cardstock, and that will do the trick. Now you're going to want to keep as much as this die together as possible, not just throw all the hearts all over the place, because you're going to be piecing everything back together. Now unfortunately my video did cut out for a part of this, but it's really easy to explain and I do show most of it on video anyway, just not the whole process. So I glued down this piece, this negative piece, and then I glued the white heart frames, so the actual white die cut with the hearts punched out of the middle. I glued that down, and then I simply put in the negative hearts from the colored cardstock. So once again, I cut this die cut from colored paper and white cardstock. I pasted down my colored card panel. I put in my white die cut to make those white heart frames, and then I simply just took the rest of the hearts that I die cut from that colored panel and piece by piece put everything together. And you're watching me do that rest of that process right now. The only thing that was skipped in the video was me laying down those little white hearts that were all attached together, that frame to make this. Unfortunately, that got caught off in the video. So it is a little bit time consuming, but if you keep all of the die cuts together, generally for the most part it was quite easy to do. It just took a little bit of time. So now that I'm piecing in those last few pieces, I hope you understand what I did for this technique. I really apologize that my video ran out of space or my iPad ran out of space. That was really unfortunate. But this does make a really cool card. And now you should have left over a bunch of white hearts like I have on the left side. And you should also have left over the actual die cut from the colored panel. So you see where all those white hearts are? You should have that piece now in that color, which is what I'm going to use to actually make a quick second card. So I'm just going to cut off a couple of these excess heart pieces here so that it fits along my framed border, and then I'll show you how to make the second card. Alright, so I'm just going to clean up a little bit. There's that die cut piece that I was telling you about that you should have on the side, which I'm going to use for my second card, but before I get onto the second card, I just need to stamp my sentiment. So I'm just taking a bone folder and I'm folding my card, making a nice crease. You got to be careful here a little bit because you might end up pulling up some of those little hearts because they are quite delicate. So just make sure everything's dry before you do that. Alright, so I am going to be stamping the Your Amazing sentiment from So Susie Stamps. It's a great sentiment to have, and it's really a nice thing to brighten up anyone's day. I think this card is really great for brightening up someone's day, not only because it's so bright, but because the sentiment and the fact that you're more than likely sending a card like this just because. Now, as I mentioned, all that hard work actually gave me 2 cards. I had this negative piece here, which I glued on with Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. Really, really great thing to have. And I probably, if I would have thought of this before, actually die cut this on stick-it paper so that it was already, I wouldn't have to sit here and glue it. But overall, it's quite fine with the Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. I find just kind of going over it slowly. So I glued that into the corner, stamped the exact same sentiment, and made myself a really clean and simple looked second card. So I hope you enjoyed this technique today and enjoyed getting the 2 cards out of 1 die cut. I hope you'll give it a try with whatever dies you have at home. I'll give you a last peek here at the 2 cards that I had made. Now all the supplies used are linked to below in the video description or on my blog. Click here up at the top to visit my blog and supply list. Over on the right hand side you can subscribe to my channel, and if you click on the photo you can be taken to my envelope series. Thank you everyone so much for watching my tutorials. Be sure to check out my tutorials next week. Tuesday I have my final envelope series video coming up and a few other surprises. Thanks so much for watching.